Man, this feels surreal. Charles Oliveira just got flatlined by Ilia Topuria in the first round. And I mean, he went out cold. First time ever in his career. That's the end of a damn era right there. Bronx, the comeback king, the chaos merchant, the guy who walks through the fire and most of the time breaks you, just got iced in 3 minutes. And it wasn't some wild brawl either. It was clean, patient, and scary. And you know what's even scarier? Ilia's power. Because Ilia's power didn't just carry up to lightweight. It might have leveled up. That's what's got me shook. This isn't the guy who moved up and looked undersized or struggled to hurt people. This is a dude who legit slept Volkanovski, then put Max Holloway to sleep, and now just deleted Charles Oliveira. All within, what, almost 2 years? Like, what the hell are we watching? We're watching someone who might be building a resume faster than any fighter in modern history. Volk, Max, Charles, 3 guys who barely get finished, let alone knocked unconscious. And Ilia just walked them down, read them, timed them, and unplugged them. And now he's holding the lightweight strap like it's been his all along. This isn't just hype anymore. It's reality. Ilia Topuria's power at 155 is for real. He's not losing pop with the weight off. If anything, he looks even more dangerous without the cut. The timing, the confidence, the precision, it's all there. And that right hand, it's like a damn sniper rifle. So yeah, it's a sad day if you're a Charles Oliveira fan. That one hurts. But also, this was a crowning moment for Ilia. He didn't just win the belt, he stamped his rival as the next great in this division. You stack Volk, Max, and Charles in a row like that, that's not normal. That's historic. And man, Ilia Topuria just made Charles freaking Oliveira, look like another name on his resume. And I don't know, that sounds wild, maybe even disrespectful, but that's what happened. That wasn't just a win, that was complete control. From the opening minute, you can tell Topuria was in the driver's seat. Charles was the one throwing first, landing the first kicks, coming forward, even trying that signature step-in knee early on, but Ilia never bit, not once. The man didn't even flinch. He stayed calm, stood tall in that high guard, eyes locked in, and stood tall in that high guard, and just started reading. That's when I felt like, oh no, he's downloading them. And this is the part that blew my mind. Charles Oliveira, for all the chaos, for all the kill or be killed energy, he wasn't just being reckless. He was doing what he always does, feeling out the range, mixing levels, being creative. He had underhooks at one point. He got inside, and he even tried to make it ugly and break the rhythm. And none of it worked. None of it mattered. Ilia wasn't reacting like a guy who was worried about the grappling or scared of getting clipped. He just stood his ground like, go ahead, throw something, make your move. I'll be here waiting. And then boom, that check right changed the entire fight. It wasn't even a knockout, it was the warning shot. Charles tried to load up with the left, Ilia timed it, counter short with that compact right hand and stubbled him. Charles bounced back, quick, sure, but it was over at that point in my opinion. Ilia had him. He had the distance, he had the rhythm, he had the reads, and when that happened, it was game over. Now, let's talk about the power because, bro, we need to really break this down. This man moved up from a weight class and looked stronger. Now let that sink in. That power didn't just translate, it might have leveled up. He wasn't swinging wild or loading up either. It was short, precision, and efficient. Everything he threw had snap. That knockout shot, that wasn't some overhand haymaker. That was a tight counter right, timed perfectly off a lazy lead from Charles. It didn't even look like much until Charles dropped like a statue. Just crashed to the mat, stiff as a board. That's power that travels up weight classes. That's when you realize Ilia's not just fast for lightweight, he's deadly. Every shot had a purpose. Every step is calculated. And when he pulled the trigger, you go out. I mean, think about it. Think how many times Charles has taken damage over the years. This is a guy who's eaten bombs from Gagey, Chandler, Poirier, some of the heaviest hands in the division. And Ilia made him look fragile. And I hate to say that, but it's true. Charles has always had that drop me but I'll recover energy. You know, that wild bounce back ability. But not this time. This time, he got hit clean and the lights shut off. No recovery, no scramble, just done. That's how you know the shot wasn't just accurate, it was different. It was a reminder that Ilia at 155 isn't some guy testing the waters. He's already the shark in the pool. And what gets me even more hyped is how fast he looked, man. Like, for reals, he looked faster than he did at featherweight. That makes no sense, right? But go back and watch it. He looked loose, confident, explosive. There was no tension in his movement, no wasted energy. The timing was perfect. He didn't change anything. He waited, and when Charles gave him that one mistake, he cashed it in. That's the kind of poise you don't usually see in a new champion. That's the kind of composure that only comes when you know you're better. Like, he stepped in there with zero doubts in his mind that he was going to win. And not just win, but finish Charles. It didn't matter what Charles threw. It didn't matter if Charles landed first. Ilia had already solved the puzzle before Charles finished drawing it, okay? And I'll say this again. Charles tries everything. You know, he tried everything: kicks, knees, close the distance, clinch entries. He even got in deep enough to work like for underhooks, which should have been in his world. That's the area where Charles drags people down into the dirt when he thrives in the chaos. But Ilia didn't panic. He just shrugged it off, reset, stayed composed, like he was 2 steps ahead that entire time. And that's not easy to do against someone like Oliveira, who thrives on making you feel uncomfortable. Ilia never looked uncomfortable, not even for a second. This was just clinical. Topuria walked in there, treated a former champ like a tune-up fight. I know that's harsh, but look at the tape. Look at the reaction. Look at the silence Charles hit the canvas. That was a moment, man. That was a signal to the whole division. Ilia Topuria has arrived at 155, and he's already looking like the baddest guy in the room. And I don't know about you, but when I see a guy starch Volkanovski, then knock Max Holloway out, then comes up and sleeps Charles Oliveira like it's just another day at the office, that's not just hype. That's not marketing. That's a problem. That's a future legend in the making. And the way he's looked tonight, man, I don't even think we've seen this guy peak yet. And here's the part that really messes with my head, bro. The grappling, like, bro, that was supposed to be Charles Oliveira's safe zone, his domain. That's where he thrives. You get too close, you clinch up, you make one mistake, and he pulls you into deep ends. That's been the Charles Oliveira formula since he's become a champion. That chaos grappling, unorthodox, climb your back while you're breathing style. But in this fight, none of that showed up. Ilia shut it all down like it was nothing. Charles had underhooks at one point. That was a big moment in the fight. Usually when you see that, your brain goes, uh-oh, here comes the trips, here comes the backpack, here comes the madness. But Ilia didn't even flinch. He wasn't off balance. He wasn't struggling to peel Charles off or disengage. He just stayed solid, controlled the position, and backed out like he was taking a breath. Like it wasn't even worth the scrambling over. That's when I knew something was different. That was the first sign that Charles wasn't going to be able to make this a Charles Oliveira fight. Because we've seen Charles Oliveira ragdoll dudes in that exact spot. Michael Chandler, a tank of a wrestler, he got dragged into a blender when he gave up that kind of position. Charles had nothing on Topuria in those same sequences. He couldn't twist him, he couldn't manipulate the balance, he couldn't even threaten a reversal or trap an arm. It was like he was trying to grapple a damn brick wall that also punched like a truck. That's demoralizing. You can feel the shift happening after that too. Charles started reaching, lunging, and trying to force his offense, and that's when Ilia iced him. And yo, can we talk about how calm Ilia looked through all that? Like, think about how insane it is. You're in there with one of the most deadliest submission artists in the sport, the guy with the most submissions in UFC history, and you're not even sweating it. Not rushing, not scrambling, just standing there like you know this man can't do anything to you. That kind of presence is rare. It's not like Charles didn't try. That's the craziest part. He came in with the right ideas. He went for it. He went in for leg kicks early. He tried his step in knees to shake up the rhythm. He got inside and worked for the clinch control. He had underhooks. He tried to initiate the grappling, but none of it landed. None of it stuck. It all just bounced off. Charles was trying to pull out tools from the old bag of tricks, you know, and Ilia just stood there like, that's it? That's all you got? That wasn't just a bad night for Charles. This was Ilia taking away the one thing Charles always had to fall back on. That safety net, that ability to grab a limb, pull guard, climb a back take. It was just all gone. And when you take that away from Charles, he's vulnerable. He needs that chaos to thrive. Ilia didn't give him a chaos. He gave him order, control, clean distance, perfect counters. And when the time came, he pulled the trigger with ruthless precision. And again, we're talking about a former featherweight here. That's what's making this so wild. A former 145er came up and treated Charles Oliveira like an overmatched contender. Didn't just beat him up, he neutralized him. Like the grappling wasn't even part of the fight. That was Charles' fallback plan, his cheat code, and Ilia erased it. That's the scariest part for the rest of the division, because if you're fighting Topuria and you can't outstrike him and you can't outgrapple him either, what's left? What's the answer? Because Charles Oliveira tried everything, okay, that made him special, and it was still not enough. The fight hit the floor, he had the angles, he had the underhooks, and still couldn't do anything with it. That's not normal. That's Ilia Topuria announcing to the world that your best attribute, your bread and butter, means nothing to him. And when a fighter gets to that level, when they're not just beating your plan A, but making your entire identity look irrelevant, that's when you know you're looking at something different, something scary. So yeah, man, after watching Ilia Topuria walk through Charles Oliveira like he was just some dude off the regional circus, I'm sitting here straight up telling you, I don't think anyone in this weight class is beating him. Not right now. Not the version of Topuria that we just saw. That man looked like Thanos in there. Charles threw everything he had, trying to strike with him, trying to clinch with him, even getting underhooks, like I mentioned for the 14th time, and it still wasn't enough. The one area where Charles is supposed to thrive, the grappling, shut down, gone, and then boom, lights out. No setups, no wild flurries, just clean, cold, calculated destruction. That man fights like he solved a math equation in real time and finished it with a death sentence. And that tells me everything I need to know. Topuria is not adjusting to 155, he's claiming it. Like it's been his division the whole time and we just didn't know. And unless somebody shows me something completely different, like something we haven't seen yet, I'm telling you right now, Ilia Topuria is about to run through this division like he's playing career mode on beginner difficulty. He's not defending the belt, he's building a legacy. So yeah, man, after everything we've seen, I'm saying this with my chest. Nobody at the lightweight division is stopping Ilia Topuria. Not now, not in the form that he's in right now. I'm confident, I'm borderline convinced he's just too fast, too sharp, too composed, and that power, it's real. It's scary, and it's not going anywhere. He made Charles Oliveira, just look like another guy. When your jiu-jitsu or your chaos or your underhooks, your offense, when all of it gets shut down easily, we're in a new era. And yeah, you can throw out names, you can even hype up some contenders, but deep down, we all know the truth. There's only one guy that can make this fight competitive. Only one guy who might actually have the tools to test them in a real way, and that is Islam Makhachev. Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria. That's the mega fight, that's the legacy fight. That's not just number one versus number one. That's precision versus pressure, calm versus calculated chaos. That's the only matchup where I'm not completely sure who wins. And the more I think about it, the more I believe we need it, not want, need. Because if Ilia keeps running through lightweights the way that he just did to Charles, it's gonna start looking like there's no one left. And that's when greatness meets greatness. Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria, it's gotta happen.